Manchester United versus Wolves match preview.
Ronaldo! It's one of the great Old Trafford comebacks. Astonishing!
Wolves played on Sunday, so they've only had one game rest. We have more games. We had more games to rest than Wolves. I expect us to beat Wolves. We are playing at Old Trafford. They clearly have to rotate their players because they've only had one day to rest, whereas we had a couple days to rest. So yes, we can afford even to put out the same 11. You know that we can afford to put out the same 11 because our players had time to rest. We had Sunday, we had Monday to rest. We had about 2 days to rest. Wolves only had 1 day, 24 hours. So I expect us to beat them. They will have to rotate their players. However, I think that they will play. They'll start with, what's his name? Adama Traore. They will start with him, I think, because they know his pace will cause us problems. We've got centre backs where Harry Maguire cannot deal with pace. He cannot deal with pace, so I do think they'll start with him. I think they might start with Podence. Let me just talk about Podence. That guy is extremely talented. He gives you Eden Hazard vibes. He got the low center of gravity. He's quick, very quick. He's got skill. He can beat a man. He's a very, very good player who I think at the end of the season, he needs to, first of all, he needs to get himself a proper agent. If he doesn't have one, I'm not sure what's the status of his of him as a footballer. But what I would say is that he should be speaking to his agent, and his agent needs to be looking for a better club for him to play at, because he is very good and he's too good to play at Wolves. The thing with Wolves is Wolves are a defensive team. So as an attacker, you will never play to your optimum. You'll never play to your potential. You'll never fulfill your potential at Wolves. You won't do that because they are a defensive team. That's why you look at their striker Jimenez. Raul Jimenez. That guy is a proper number 9 who scores goals. But he will never get 20 goals in the league because Wolves don't play that football. Wolves play negative football. They come and they park the bus and they hit you on a counter. So as an attacker, you will never play to your potential and reach your potential when you're playing in a team like that. So I do think that Podence at the end of the season needs to be looking for a move away, because I looked at his age and I think he's about 25 years old. He's not young. He's not the youngest, compared to Neto and stuff like that. So I think that he needs to be looking for a move away because he deserves it. That boy is extremely talented. He's a very good player. Then another player that I rate from them as well is Neto. Neto was young. I think Neto's about 20 or something like that. You all can correct me on the comments. But I think Neto's about 20 years old and he's so good. He's extremely fast. And he's quick with the ball at his feet. He's got skill. He's very, very good. And he can score. He's got a goal in him. Not just one goal. He's got a couple goals in him. He's a goal scorer. That's also a player that if I'm United, I'd be looking at. If they don't want to buy Jadon Sancho. But I was reading recently that Jadon Sancho will leave Borussia Dortmund at the end of the season. So the only club he's going to come to is Manchester United. We're about the only club that will spend that money on him. I do think now we can probably get him for about 90 million, 80 to 90 million, I think. But yeah, that will be an alternative for me if you can't get Jadon Sancho for whatsoever reason. Neto's a very good option. That boy is extremely good, So that's I think the attackers that Wolves will play. They'll play Adama Traore. Whether they play him as a right, no, they won't play him as a right wing back because what's his name? Barcelona's ex right back. Yeah, that guy, he plays as a right wing back. So they'll play Adama Traore. They'll play Neto and they'll play Podence. I'll be very surprised if they don't play those players. But in saying that, I won't be too surprised, because they did play on Sunday. So they only had 1 day to rest. So I'm not sure if he'll play all those players. I'm not sure if all those players will be fit enough to play another game of football in such a quick turnaround. That's very unfair. I don't know how the Premier League schedule their games, but they do it to a very low standard. A very low standard. And if I'm sitting on the board of a club, I will never agree to that. If I'm Wolves, I will never agree to play Manchester United and only have 1 day of rest when Manchester United had 2. I would never agree to that. But be it as it may. So that's why I'm saying United, we should be beating Wolves. We should be getting the 3 points against Wolves because our players are fresher than their players. Our players are much more rested than their players, We don't have to do a full squad rotation, and we know that Oli won't. I do think he'll make a couple. David De Gea will continue in the nets because he's been good. The goals that he's conceded is not down to him. It's just down to the quality of the goal. So he'll start. At right back, I think Wan-Bissaka will come back. I heard that he's been in training. And so Oli, Oli's got no recovery time for his players. He doesn't care. If you say that you want to play, Oli will play you. Oli doesn't use his own brain and his own initiative and his own study to say, you know what, these players need a specific time to recover before they can start games. Oli's not like that. So I expect Wan-Bissaka at right back. Centre back, Victor Lindelof, he's still carrying that injury that he had from last season. So I don't think Victor Lindelof will play. I think you'll see Eric Bailly and Harry Maguire, of course. Left back, I think you'll see Alex Telles. I don't think he'll play Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw played on Saturday. So I don't think we'll see Luke Shaw. And then in the midfield, the midfield is Oli just putting his hand in a raffle bag and pulling out. There's no consistency with his midfield. I will be very angry if Oli gonna starts a midfield off with Scott McTominay or Fred, or Scott McTominay or Matic. But if Oli does not play Paul Pogba in the midfield, I will be very upset because we are playing a team that parks the bus. We are playing a team that defends. We are playing a team that is coming there with a low block and is going to come there and want to hit us on the counter attack. So we are playing a team that is going to give us the ball. They are going to surrender the ball to us. When you are playing those teams, you cannot play two holding midfielders. It is pointless playing two holding midfielders against a team that is parking the bus. You need to open them up. That's what you need to do. So I expect to see Paul Pogba in the midfield alongside even a Matic or Scott McTominay or Fred. I don't care, but as long as I see Paul Pogba. If I was the manager, I would even play Paul Pogba and Donny van de Beek. Because Oli does play them as CDMs. Oli does play with two CDMs. And he plays, when Pogba plays in the midfield, Pogba plays as a CDM. So I would play Donny van de Beek and Paul Pogba as your double number 6. Because you don't need to be defensive. You're playing a team that's parking the bus. You're playing a team that's going to come there with a low block. You cannot be playing defensive against that team. You need to be offensive. You need to be able to break them down because they're going to be very hard to break down. They're going to load people behind the ball. So, yeah, Pogba will... I'm very sure that Pogba will play. If Pogba does not play, I'll throw a fit. I'll definitely throw a fit. Then, obviously, in the number 10, it's Bruno. We know it's Bruno. Then, let's start to the right. I think that... No, let's go to the left. Marcus Rashford. About Marcus Rashford, apparently he's not picked up a knock. It's the same injury that he had from last season. I think he's back or something like that. But he's been feeling it after this game against Leicester on Saturday. He's been feeling it. But I do think Oli will play Marcus Rashford. Oli's got 3 players that are indispensable to him. Number 1 is Harry Maguire. Number 2 is Bruno Fernandes. Number 3 is Marcus Rashford. Oli plays these guys no matter who's the opposition. No matter who's the opposition, he plays these guys. These 3 guys are Oli's main players. So, in saying that, Marcus Rashford apparently trained with the squad. So, I do think that Marcus Rashford will start. Because Oli will play Marcus Rashford through anything. Remember, Oli was the one that was the reason why Paul Pogba had that injury last season. The extent of the injury was down to Oli. Oli was playing Paul Pogba through an injury. And then he done it with Rashford after that. He played Rashford through an injury. And those players, Paul Pogba and Rashford, only came back because of lockdown. If it weren't for lockdown, we were not going to see them the whole season. Because Oli plays players through injury. They done it with Maguire as well. He does it with everyone. So I do think that Marcus Rashford will start. If Marcus Rashford is fit enough to train, I do think Oli will start him. Then on the other wing, on the right wing, I think that you will see Mason Greenwood. I do think you'll see Mason Greenwood. I'll be very angry again if we do not play Mason Greenwood. For me, even if you want to play Juan Mata, I don't like Juan Mata. I know Juan Mata's past his best. His best days are behind him. He's very slow. He's very weak on the ball. You touch him, you got the ball from him. But what Juan Mata can do is his movements off the ball is world class. It's still world class. He picks up certain pockets. He occupies spaces, and he can open the defense. So I wouldn't be angry. I'll actually vote for it that Juan Mata maybe should start. Because the thing with Mason Greenwood is Mason Greenwood doesn't have movement. Mason Greenwood doesn't have playmaking skills. The only thing Mason Greenwood has is shooting skills. And if you nullify that, you've nullified him. And we know against Wolves there's not going to be much space for him to operate. So you need a player with the craftiness of Juan Mata that's a playmaker that can open up defenses. So I personally think Juan Mata should play this game. If he doesn't play, I won't throw a fit. But Mason Greenwood should play. Daniel James cannot be playing. The other option Oli can do is what I think he should do also going forward, is that we should be playing Marcus Rashford on the right, Anthony Martial on the left, and Cavani at number 9. I don't think Oli will do that against this game. Against Wolves, I don't think he'll do that. So yeah, that's the wingers. I think that we will see Marcus Rashford on the left, and we will see either Mason Greenwood or Juan Mata on the right. And then the number 9 position, that's the position that I'm not sure what he will do. Will he go for Anthony Martial again, or will he go for Edinson Cavani? Because Martial's been underperforming. Let's not kid around here. Let's not beat around the bush. Martial's been underperforming. Martial had a poor game against Leicester. That's why Oli took him off. He had a poor game against Leicester. Poor game, you know. He's not even getting into good positions anymore. It's just not good. He's not playing well. He's not playing well even as a number 9. He's not playing well. He's not getting the goals. So I do think that Oli might be tempted to bench Martial for Cavani, because let's face it, guys, Cavani is a hitman. You know. He's a proper number 9 striker. It is what United need. We need a proper number 9 striker. Yes, Cavani is not the answer for the long term. Yes, he's not the answer. Even for next season, I don't think he's the answer as well. Because he's 33. He's old. We need to be looking at younger strikers. And that's why I will forever blame Oli for not getting Haaland. Haaland was a perfect striker. That was a striker for the next 10 years if he did not want to leave for a bigger club like Real Madrid. But be it as it may, for me, we need a proper number 9. And currently, Edinson Cavani is performing better than Anthony Martial. So whether Oli starts Cavani, I'll be all for it. Personally, I'll be all for it. So that's the lineup that I think will take place, guys. Let me go over it again. It will be David De Gea in nets, Wan-Bissaka, Eric Bailly, Harry Maguire, Alex Telles, Paul Pogba, and probably Fred or Scott McTominay or Matic. One of them, but Paul Pogba will start. Bruno Fernandes in the 10. On the left wing, it will be Marcus Rashford. On the right wing, I probably think it will be Juan Mata. And up front, it will either be Anthony Martial or Edinson Cavani. That's my lineup that I think Oli will. Go for. The score for me, I'm expecting a win, as I said, because of the conditions. I'm expecting a win. And because we've got better players. Wolves got good players. But we have better players than Wolves. And we should be beating Wolves. So I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go for probably 8. The thing is, we can't keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to probably go with a 2-1. I think it will be a 2-1 scoreline. Either 1-0 to United or 2-1 to United. That's what I do think. I do think it will be somewhere there. Either 1-0 to United or 2-1 to United. But I do expect a victory. Anything less than a victory, and you have to look at the manager. I do expect a victory. So that's my predictions, guys. Let me know of your predictions. Head into the comments and let me know of your predictions. I'll see you all after the game. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Cheers.